The semi-finals of the Champions League are set with Paris Saint-Germain versus Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid have knocked out the league, the holders of the reigning champions, Manchester City, and Arsenal have been eliminated by by Bayern Munich, and Manchester City losing to Real Madrid 3 penalties. I think fair play to them, but I think Real Madrid, I think they came in with one thing in mind, maybe score one goal and then sit back and relax. And that's what they did. They scored the first goal in the 12th minute through Rodrigo, who's continuing his impressive form against Manchester City, as he scored his second goal against Manchester City this season. Remember, he scored in the first leg to make it 2-1 at the Bernabeu, and also he scored the first one at the Etihad Stadium to make it 1-0 and to make it 3-4 in aggregate in favor of Real Madrid. So after the goal that Rodrigo scored in the first minute, it was all Manchester City. They were dominating with Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland hitting the crossbar, and Kevin De Bruyne coming close to equalizing for the citizens. But Andriy Lunin, I think, is the man of the match. Him together with Antonio Rudiger, I think Andriy Lunin has been impressive for Real Madrid since the injury of the Thibaut, and I think he deserves it all, the praise, and it's been fantastic. He was fantastic today again against Manchester City. Remember, Manchester City had 10 shots on target and only managed to score one goal through Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne had a chance of scoring his second goal of the match and second Real Madrid's goal, which meant that Real Madrid, or rather Manchester City, could have went through to the semi, but somehow he misplaced his shot and it went wide, and it was extra time, and both Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne was substituted out, and I think Real Madrid kept on with their game plan, and they managed to that defensive partnership and the defensive the tactic that they came in today was to that highline defensive, and maybe they were defending so deep, and Manchester City from the first minute they were trying to break that that defensive lineup of Real Madrid, but they were unable until the goal by Kevin De Bruyne. But after the goal, they were knocking. They had 10 shots on target, compared to Real Madrid's 3 shots on target, and thanks to Andriy Lunin, somehow they didn't score a goal in the extra time as well. So in the penalty shootout, Andriy Lunin also came in and saved Mateo Kovacic's end, or rather Bernardo Silva's penalty, with Luka Modric missing the first penalty for Real Madrid, but they didn't back out. They did back out the remaining players of Real Madrid, and they scored all the penalties, with Man City scoring only 3 penalties. So Manchester City are out after losing. They lost 4-3 in penalties to bow out of the Champions League this season in quarter-finals. So the reigning champions, Manchester City, out will mean that Manchester City, or rather Real Madrid, have a chance of winning their 15th Champions League trophy in the club history, as they already won 14. Manchester City's hope for a treble has received a hit blow, and it is now impossible, as they are now out of the Champions League. They are playing Chelsea in the FA Cup on Saturday, as they hope to win at least 2 trophies this season. But for the Champions League, it is over for 2 English teams, that is Manchester City and Arsenal, with Arsenal also bowing out of the Champions League after losing 1-0 to Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. Arsenal were coming into that game after losing their Premier League game, which was also important, against Aston Villa at home at the Emirates Stadium. They lost 2-0 through thanks to Oli Watkins and Leon Bailey's goal. They lost the game, and they were hoping that they could get a good result and respond positively against Bayern Munich today, but that wasn't the case, as the Germans former champions. Remember, they didn't win the Bundesliga this season. They played well. Remember, they were missing Alfonso Davies, they were missing Coman, they were missing Nabry, and they're also missing there's star players who are out of injuries, including such a boy who is also injured so out through injury. So, but Arsenal, they were coming to this game with full squad. Remember, only Timber was out. Is out at the moment, but is back in training. Is training well. Is responding well, and he might be back in the next couple of weeks. So, they came to this game with the full squad, and I was expecting Arsenal to produce a good result against Bayern Munich, who are Champions League. So, there will be no English team in the Champions League this season, as both English teams are out. Spurs were out, Manchester United were out, and now we are seeing Arsenal and Manchester City going out. So, I think the finals, as I said, is between Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain, and Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain versus Borussia Dortmund. So, I think PSG has the best chance of winning their first ever Champions League trophy, because they are facing Dortmund, and if they play well, they can win it, and they'll face maybe Bayern and Real Madrid. I think Bayern and Real Madrid's game is will be a bit more tensed than the Man City one, and I think Real Madrid, they will be playing the Bayern game with a lot of confidence, and they'll approach the game differently the way they approach the Manchester City game, and we will see which team will come out as winners in those two games. It will be both a second. It will be both played in like that two-legged match. So we will see the team that will be playing at the Wembley Stadium in the final of the Champions League this season. So for the Arsenals, they only have one chance of lifting a trophy this season, and that is by winning the Premier League. Currently, they are 2 points behind Manchester City. They have a game on Saturday against Wolves, as they hope to return back to winning ways. They've lost their two games, the two important ones against Aston Villa and against Bayern Munich. So they'll be looking to respond positively against Wolves on Saturday. Meanwhile, the citizens will be facing Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. Real Madrid will be facing Barcelona on Sunday in El Clasico, as they look to win La Liga also.